I'm so proud of our congressional delegation. Senator Blumenthal, Senator Murphy, Congressman Larson, our entire delegation. But the Republicans who refuse to call out white terrorism and white supremacy for what it is, and the Republicans who refuse to condemn the hateful rhetoric that comes out of the mouth of the President of the United States, and the Republicans who refuse to call a vote on common sense measures that should have been adopted long ago, you're responsible too. And to those who are afraid to take on the NRA, it's time to recognize.
Let's get you caught up on the very latest right now. The gunman is 24-year-old Connor Betts. CNN is reporting that several former high school classmates say that Betts was investigated 6 years ago by school officials. They say that he kept a so-called hit list of fellow students that he wanted to kill and a list of those he wanted to sexually assault. Figuring out why he did it is the mission #1 right now for investigators.
And that's all happening just as the city mourns the innocent victims. A steady stream of people visited the scene of Sunday's mass shooting in Dayton, Ohio to pay their respects. 9 victims were killed and at least 27 others were wounded in the attack. Investigators identified a 24-year-old named Connor Betts as the shooter. Police say Betts was carrying an AR-15-like rifle.
He would have had a maximum of 250 rounds in his possession at the time.
Police responded in less than a minute, confronting Betts outside a bar called Ned Pepper's. At least 6 officers opened fire, killing him.
If police had not stopped him and he made it into that establishment where hundreds of people were dancing and enjoying, we would have had hundreds of people die.
Police are piecing together the minutes leading up to the deadly shooting, but they still don't have a motive to explain why it happened.
We are not through all the evidence.
The dead ranged in age from 22 to 57. The youngest was the shooter's sister, Megan Betts. The siblings had actually traveled to Dayton together, along with a man described as the sister's companion, who was wounded but survived. 6 of the 9 killed were African American. However, officials say there isn't enough evidence to say they were targeted because of their race. Now, authorities in El Paso say all 21 of the victims from Saturday's shooting massacre at a Walmart have now been identified.
The shooter's motives could play a major role in how he faces charges. Mourners comforting each other this Monday in front of a vigil for the 21 victims of the Walmart mass shooting in El Paso. Shoppers took cover when gunfire erupted Saturday. 21-year-old suspected gunman Patrick Crucius allegedly posted a racist, anti-immigrant manifesto online just before the shooting.
We are treating it as a domestic terrorism case.
The FBI searched a home outside of Dallas where Crucius lived with his grandparents. They released a statement saying that they are devastated and praying for the victims. The mayor of El Paso told CBS Evening News anchor Norah O'Donnell that he knew the shooter wasn't a local.
This individual, this hate-filled person, deranged, came from another part of, came from outside of El Paso. I am firmly convinced that this would have never occurred with an El Pasoan.
El Paso's population is more than 80% Hispanic. The Walmart here is just minutes away from the U.S.-Mexico border, and it's a popular shopping destination for communities on both sides. Among the victims, Jordan and Andre Anchandu, the mother of 3, apparently shielded the couple's 2-month-old son from gunfire.
He's got 2 broken fingers, a couple of bruises, but he's alive.
Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty for Crucius. He allegedly posted his manifesto to a message board called 8chan, which is also linked to at least 2 other mass shootings this year. And Action News Jax wants you to share your thoughts. What do you think is a bigger factor in mass shootings, gun control laws or mental health support? And so far, 74% of you say mental health support. 26% say gun control laws. Well, we want you to join the conversation. Go to actionnewsjax.com/vote to weigh in.
Some parents in St. Johns County are worried about how their students will get to the classroom next week. Action News Jax Elizabeth Pace is live near the St. Johns Forest community where the district removed bus services this year. And Elizabeth, parents say the walking route to Liberty Pines Academy is just too dangerous for their kids.
Action actually say it's too dangerous for anyone walking this route because of the traffic over here. This is part of the section that the district wants students to walk to Liberty Pines Academy, and actually it was deemed safe by the state. Rachel Bonnell has 1 week before she sends her 2 kids back to Liberty Pines Academy. For years, she's walked them to the bus stop, but now she says she's forced to drive them to make sure they get there safely.
They're asking our children as young as 5 to walk 18 inches, next to 9B. It's just not safe whatsoever.
Last December, I told you how the St. Johns County School District recommended to take away the bus service in St. Johns Forest community for Liberty Pine Academy students. They say this neighborhood falls within the 2-mile distance rule, but parents fought back, saying it's a huge safety concern along a busy road. One dad took it to the Division of Administrative Hearings. After 10 months of hearings and evidence on road safety hazards, the judge recommended the school district move forward with terminating this bus route. This page shows a list of reasons why, including failing to show hazardous walking conditions for his children pursuant to the governing statute. But Superintendent Tim Forson can still change it.
The judge made the call, but that they could still go back and reverse everything, which we were still hoping that they would come to their senses and actually do that.
And this is just some of the traffic during the lunch hour, so imagine the morning rush out here. Parents are at least asking for a school safety zone for their children in this area. And I also reached out to St. Johns County School District, and you'll hear their response ahead at 5. Reporting live in St. Johns County, Elizabeth Pace, CBS47, Action News JAX.
Just into Action News JAX, former City Councilwoman Katrina Brown is asking a federal judge to delay her fraud trial by 6 months. That's supposed to start, though, in 2 weeks. Action News JAX told you last week when Brown successfully moved to represent herself during the trial. She does not have a law degree. She's facing a 37-count indictment, including charges of fraud, money laundering, and making false statements to a financial institution.
New this noon, a local car dealership is forced to pay more than $1 million for allegedly defrauding customers. Today, the Attorney General said Riverside Chevrolet did not pay off liens on trade-in cars, failed to pay sales tax, and failed to pay employees withholding taxes. At least 17 senior citizens were victimized, we're told, between August of 2017 and 2018, according to the state. Military members were also victims.
This was an example of motor fraud at its worst. Unwittingly, buyers were purchasing or trading in vehicles, getting new ones, and then were on the hook for 2 cars.
Riverside Chevrolet is now under new ownership.
One of the men facing charges in the shooting death of a child could learn his sentence today. That phase of the trial began at 9 a.m. this morning for Abraham Price. He entered a guilty plea in the shooting death of Haiti Rivas Villanueva. Investigators say he and a second suspect planned a robbery they disguised as a gun trade. The local leaders of the Cure Violence Initiative say people will start seeing the effects of the program in 2 more months. Cure Violence treats violence as a health crisis and sends peacekeepers into the community. 20 shootings were reported in the last 2 weeks. 9 people died.
We stick to the model because the model has worked in other cities.
Leaders with Cure Violence tell Action News JAX they've spent $177,000 so far from a budget of more than $750,000 funded with our tax dollars. That money has been spent on staff, operations, and community resources.
JAX Beach officers are remembering one of their own this noon. This is video of Corporal Andy Lavender. While his cause of death hasn't been specified yet, the message did say, "I encourage you to talk to someone if you're having difficulties." According to Facebook, Lavender had 3 children and was loved by so many in the community he served.
Right now, federal investigators are working to find what caused a small plane to crash in Mill Cove. Sky Action News JAX took us over the Piper PA-28 in the marsh on Saturday. It went down 2 miles north of Craig Airport near the Dames Point Bridge. Fire crews say the pilot was the only person on the plane and wasn't hurt. We found that plane is registered to Airneck Inc. out of Jacksonville. The FAA believes the crash was caused by an engine-related problem.
Jacksonville City Councilman Garrett Dennis is pushing to decriminalize small amounts of marijuana today at a public meeting. Action News JAX first reported in May when Dennis started efforts to change laws to allow officers to decide whether to ticket someone or arrest them when caught with a small amount of pot. That discussion is happening right now at the Webb Westconnett Library on 103rd Street. tonight at 6:30.
A new littoral combat ship is now commissioned and will soon be making its way home to Naval Station Mayport. The USS Billings was commissioned at the port in Key West Saturday. The Billings is especially designed to operate in shallow waters near coastlines and rivers.
Special joint practices between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Ravens begin in less than an hour in Baltimore. Now, this is the first preseason opponent this Thursday night. The biggest news so far is the return of defensive end Yannick Ngakoue, who had been holding out for a new deal. Action Sports Jax is getting you ready for the Jags' first preseason game. Tune in to Fox 30 at 7 o'clock for a countdown to kickoff, followed by the game coverage as the Jags take on the Ravens.
I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Corey Sima. Some rain already on First Alert Doppler HD. Not just out to the west of us, but in Nassau and Camden County. We can look at some of these building clouds on our JIA First Alert Skycam network, too. Timing out the rain hour by hour through the even commute in the First Alert forecast.
JAXPORT jobs, how new growth at our shipping port is creating some new opportunities.
And there's still time to go tax-free at local checkout lines. How long you have until the sales tax returns and which items you can save the most money on.
What to watch, brought to you by Ashley Home Store.
JAXPORT says operations at the port supports more than 26,000 jobs here in Jacksonville, and it's only getting better.
That's right, board members say that the Harbor Deepening Project is a part of significant growth in just the last 5 years. New this noon, Action News Jax Brittany Donovan explains how a local business owner shows us the port supports his business.
JAXPORT provides thousands of families in Jacksonville good-paying jobs, including the truckers you see turning into the terminal right now. But it's not only people who work at the port. These jobs also support the local economy, including Jeff Farrer's restaurant, the Portside Grill.
Jeff Farah says Portside Grill is known for its home-cooked flavors and fried chicken.
Usually when the port peak time is at peak time, I'm at peak time. So there's no doubt there's a symbiotic relationship here.
Farah tells me he chose the spot on Talleyrand because of JAXPORT's growth. On Monday, a maritime research firm revealed new data showing the port supports 26,000 jobs in the Jacksonville area. That includes 10,876 people who work at the port, making an average of $70,500 per year.
At the end of the day, they've been able to give a quality life to their family that they've all been looking for.
Vincent Cameron says he's seen an uptick, and it'll be even greater when dredging is complete in 2023.
With more containers come more economic opportunities that spread throughout the community.
JAXPORT's board says harbor deepening has contributed to the nearly 8% job growth since 2013. For Farah, he says it's good jobs for families.
That means I made a good decision, and I'll continue to invest in my business as well.
Right now, the Portside Grill is hiring, and Farah says that's because of the steady stream of customers he sees here in Talleyrand. Ahead at 5, the growth he says he's seen since opening nearly 2 years ago. Reporting in Duval County, Brittany Donovan, CBS 47, Action News Jax.
VyStar Credit Union says that it's acquired Citizen State Bank and will take over 4 branches. That includes 2 locations in Gainesville. The deal is worth about $280 million. VyStar now operates 55 full branches across 27 counties.
The city of Naples, Florida is the newest victim of a cyber attack. This one cost taxpayers $700,000. Officials say scammers posed as a city contractor and tricked a worker into wiring them the money for an infrastructure project. Now, that's different than what happened in Lake City, which was a ransomware attack. That one cost that city $460,000 in June. The city fired its IT manager over that breach.
Still need to get some school supplies like I do. There's still plenty of time for us to get out there to make our tax-free purchases for back-to-school shopping. And that's because the tax-free weekend in Florida runs through Tuesday night, tomorrow night, 11:59. The tax breaks apply to most school supplies, clothing, diapers, and computer equipment. We put a full list of items that are eligible on our website, actionnewsjax.com. In the meantime, another school district in southeast Georgia is back in session. They went back this morning. Charlton County joined Ware and Camden counties in local classrooms. So coming up next, we have Pierce, Brantley, and Glenn counties. Those students go back to school this week, Wednesday and Thursday. And then next week, a full list there on Monday, including Duval and Putnam, St. John's, and Tuesday, Clay County goes back.
Now certified Jacksonville's most accurate weather forecast. Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
All right, y'all, the humidity, it's real. It feels like 106 in Fernandina Beach. This number just updated here right before I brought it on TV. It feels like 93 at JIA, which, you know, that's really small compared to the 106 right next to it in Fernandina. There's also a little bit of cloud cover very close to the airport, in addition to some rain and lightning. 5-sweep First Alert Doppler HD. Obviously, the color out here west of I-75, that probably drew your attention first, but we have a little bit of development. This is just north of Jacksonville in Nassau County, here along I-95 and US 17. Even First Alert Doppler HD detecting a little bit of lightning with it. So let's zoom down to street level here. There is that lightning strike basically at the intersection of I-95 and US 17 there in Nassau County, well northwest of Yulee. Look at these rainfall rates too. Over 1 and 2 inch per hour rainfall rates. The farther east we go in this little cell, between 2 and 3. In fact, it's 2 3/4, so almost 3 inch per hour rainfall rates. This little storm, it is headed toward Amelia Island and southern Cumberland Island, headed for Fernandina Beach in about 20 minutes, 12:39, and the Baptist Medical Center Nassau neighborhood there at around 12:40. That's if it hangs together, tracking along the Florida-Georgia line. These are going to have a tendency to go up. They may make it a little bit, and then they'll go away. Case in point, right here, we have this little shower in southern Camden County. Look at what radar scan did to it. it almost completely took it away. You can see this shower here as it's tracking toward Kings Bay Base. If it hangs together, it'll make it just after 12:33, but a couple of these, they are trying to fall apart. Our Riverside First Alert Skycam Network, we're looking at the rain that is up here to the north in Nassau County, but this is going to be the view for about the next 1 to 2 hours before we start to see the rain really pick up. Here is 2 p.m. on the hour-by-hour forecast. There may be some of these heavy storms, especially up in southeast Georgia. There may be 1 or 2 of these in northeast Florida, but most of the rain and storm activity is going to be to the north throughout the afternoon and evening. For the 5 p.m. commute, Duval may be dealing with a couple more of these showers and thunderstorms. And then this evening, you see how the activity ramps up a little bit there in southeast Georgia. So you got to keep an eye to the sky later this afternoon and through the evening, as temperatures are going to feel like around 100 degrees before the rain begins. Hopefully you can get some relief from that. In the First Alert 7-day forecast, your weekend, it's always in view. We got a lot of ground to cover before we get to the weekend. Daily afternoon showers and storms. The highest rain threat looks to be tomorrow. That's Tuesday. Just isolated storms on Thursday as we continue with the rain through the weekend. You can download the Action News Jax First Alert Weather app. Just go to our website right there, actionnewsjax.com.
Coming up next at noon, tens of thousands of trampolines under recall. So before the kids head into the backyard, you need to know about this. The steps families need to take to protect their kids.
Plus a new stamp designed to honor the military. How much the Postal Service is charging.
The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission is recalling 23,000 of these trampolines because the metal legs can give out. Customers can contact the company to get a repair kit to fix the issue.
The U.S. Postal Service now selling new Forever stamps that honor military working dogs. Those stamps feature a German Shepherd, a Labrador Retriever, and a few more dogs. A Forever stamp costs 55 cents. Out for the rain today, huh?
Yeah, between about now and 5 p.m.
Well, thanks for joining us for Action News Jax at noon. Y&R is on next.
Have a good day, everyone.